Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the last time to this Star Ladder Pro Series. This is going to be Team CAZ taking on Team ENSO here at the Grand Finals. We actually have the same maps as our third place match that was just played out about an hour ago. It's going to be starting off over here on Mirage. We'll go over to Dust 2 for map number 2, and then for our third and final map, we'll be played off on Inferno if we do even play it out. Best of 3 still though, so first team to 2 points is going to take it today. We'll take first place. Loser gets home with second place. Not 100% sure on the prize pool, so unfortunately I don't have that info, but we are live with the knife round now, and I believe we have a small problem with the knife round in it. Someone is AFK, but thankfully they win it out anyway. 4 versus 5 knife round. Easy for the British, as they'll take control of it anyway. And now they're going to get their side choice to start things off here. Now, CAZ actually, for me personally, based on, again, I've not had the opportunity to watch this team. I've not had the opportunity to watch this team besides from this tournament, and I might have had 1 or 2 occasions where I've spotted them before, but for the most part, most of my opportunities have come from the earlier set that I watched where they played off against, I believe it was... oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Whoever just took third place previously, I believe it was, oh my god, I can't remember the team's name, but whoever we had playing earlier that took the third place match. Wow, alright, well, this is embarrassing. I can't remember the name right now, but it was one of the Russian teams that played up against it. Anyway, we saw these guys clash against ENSO just the other day actually, and funny enough is that it was a pretty close matchup, so considering how close these matchups have been and just how much CAZ actually went strongly against some of the Russian teams earlier, I would actually say CAZ is probably my personal favorite to come out on top here of this matchup based on their results from their earlier matchup against a team that they played there, and based on the fact that we saw ENSO playing off recently against them, it sort of just leads its way into it there that CAZ would be pretty strong here. I mean, we saw it too. CAZ probably are one of the few teams in this event so far that I've seen that has had a pretty consistent CT side along with a semi-decent T side down to it. A lot of these teams, ENSO included, have been fairly one-sided in that we saw some fairly strong dynamics on the T side, but definitely some things lacking on the CT side because they still need to be established. CAZ, at least from the maps we saw them play, was one of the few that actually has shown us both sides of the equation where they've been able to work very well on the CT side with their setups and communicative properties, and then also bust some butt on the T side too there where they've been able to really bring it to their opponents here. So CAZ, I think, are going to have a pretty good matchup for themselves today. Going up against ENSO as well, they had a pretty good match against their own opponents, and like I said, versus Vega specifically, they brought that one pretty close, but with Vega also having the close match versus the team that CAZ played off against, I think CAZ would be the pretty personal favorite of mine to take this. But like I said, I think we're just waiting on somebody to come back from being AFK. Pretty sure Asian Infiltration is AFK at the moment, but as soon as he's back, we should be getting started with the match. We did have like a small delay. You probably could have seen it if you have been here for a while. We had the warm-up screen on for like at least 20 minutes or so, because I think there was a problem with like getting the lounge stuff. I think it was a problem with the lounge stuff because we technically started this match early by about like 10 minutes. So I had to have that edited, and I think we had a little bit of a delay because of that, but that's been resolved now, so we're just waiting for this player to get back. And as soon as he's here, we'll get him back in the game. It seems he's on a little bit of a bathroom expedition right now. So shouldn't be too much longer for him, and then we'll bring him back. But definitely going to be an interesting matchup here today. Like I said, ENSO had a fairly close matchup versus Vega. A lot of people were thinking that Vega was going to end up taking it because they had faced off against ENSO in some previous matches, but Vega was pretty convincing in taking it. Now this time it was ENSO that took the set 2-0. They were able to strike back nicely, and they came up from that point forward there and were able to hold a pretty strong lead going into it. So now that they have stricken back and they've taken the victory over opponents that have beaten them in the past, now they're going to be going up against Team CAZ. And finally, he's back, folks. So we're getting into it now here. This is it, Team CAZ versus Team ENSO here at the Star Ladder Pro Series for Season 14. And we'll be getting live right now. Actually, okay, he's here. I was about to say, I hope he's not still AFK, because that would suck. But he's still here, and we've got him back now, so we're going to be getting started live with the knife, or not the knife round, live with a pistol round right now here on Mirage. So let's get to it. Starting things off here, ENSO actually going to split up their players by quite a bit, and we can see Little getting hit pretty hard there, back over on top mid. He's going to get knocked down to about 52 HP. We do see that the dephh spots this play coming from underneath, too, so they know it's going to be heavy back over there inside of middle. He's got to pray that it doesn't go inside of connector, though, but those are where the smokes are coming into. So CAZ is going to have to get that rotation force back over here towards the A side very quickly because they're going to roll in, but it's no problem for dephh. Look, he's picking up 2 kills. Has to go for the reload, but he cancels it. Actually, no, I think he gets it just in time, and he's able to finish off Fly in the process of that. So he's going to be able to shut down 3 players back to back to back. That leaves only 2 left alive from Team ENSO. It's going to be Zoner and Little. Little is able to sneak off 1 kill back over here by taking down Rom. And while all of this is happening, look at Zoner. Zoner trying to flank around these guys right now, get into the backs of CAZ and see if he can shut them down. But with dephh doing all the damage he's done, it's definitely going to throw these players on the T side off a little bit. But right now, look at this. Nobody watching his back. This should be a perfect flank from Zoner. He just got to keep quiet and execute it. But now we do see Kryptix coming in. They know it's here now, so they should be able to shut him down before they can get inside of there and do some damage. Jakem will take him out. And now it's just going to be Little left alive with 39 seconds left on the clock. Trying to clutch something, but everybody from the team CAZ, almost with the exception of like 1 player, is sitting inside of the window room right now, waiting for this to happen. And dephh is going to come out to find the final frag as well. 4 kills with his USP, all headshots coming out from him. And that's going to start Team CAZ off here in the pistol round with the first point on their CT side. For Team ENSO, probably going to see the response round coming out from them now. No plant, so probably just going to see the Tech 9 armor buy up. But actually, yeah, it looks like we will see that after all. A couple players going for P250s, and actually not the full armor buy from everybody. It's actually fairly light for some of these guys. Fly, Zoner, along with Art, do go for armor, along with Fly, and Fly having the deagle behind his. Zoner just has a P250, and Art has the Tech 9. So a pretty big variance, with the exception, or apologies, a pretty big variance in comparison to just doing the normal sort of Tech 9 armor buy thing that we oftentimes see. But nonetheless here, it should allow them to do a little bit of work if they want to try to go for it. But so far, dephh finding the first frag. Might be able to grab a second in a second tier, but Kryptix there taking a minute to spot his second opponent, but he's going to be able to take down Fly. And beyond that, dephh and Asian Infiltration going to be able to take down the other 2 as Team CAZ come up 2-0 now. Team ENSO still floating behind a little bit, and this is going to be their garbage time round. Won't be able to do too much this time. A couple upgraded pistols are going to come into play here and there, but for the most part, P250s, nothing else sitting behind it. No armor, no utility. Easy round for Team CAZ to pick up here and start themselves off 3 on the CT side. And a good thing, too, because as we were discussing before, from what we saw yesterday at the very least from ENSO's game, ENSO was very, very reliant on their T side in order to make an impact. So the more rounds that CAZ can deny, and they've denied 3 of them here by picking up the pistol, the more rounds they can deny, the better. And there's going to be AERO almost connecting that shot on Asian Infiltration, just taking a wild guess as to where he is, and it works out. But look at Zoner now completely flanking it, staying completely quiet, moving in here. Our view's gonna he did go for the knife frag, so he's gonna pull out the knife, takes out Asian Infiltration. Beyond that, though, dephh picks up 2 more kills before Art's able to respond. AERO does pick up an additional frag too, and now we see 2 players get upgraded guns. Kryptix here getting himself into a little bit of a battle with Fly as he brings him down to about 29 HP. They know that the play is coming into this site. Kryptix is going to be able to fall back, but Fly's waiting for him to pop right back out again. So Kryptix peeking out, looking to see if he can get in the way of these guys. The Molly's going to come back through CT2, so that's going to waste a decent amount of time. And currently no kit sitting on either of these players. I imagine there's one near the site somewhere inside of connector, but they have to get going with this now because a lot of time is being wasted. They still have to figure out where that 3rd player is. They get 1 down. Now they got to find Fly and AERO out before the time expires there. They're actually just going to sit on the defuse, but again, he's got no kit for that. Fly just gets a nice little 1-shot there, and then we do see as well, Rom just comes outside of it, stops defusing completely, knows he's not going to get it, looking for the kit, but not going to be able to find it. And ENSO close out and upset on round number 3 with a very, very minimal investment going into it. So they're going to come up 2-1 now, and they're going to try to bring this back very nicely as well. But Team CAZ did bring up enough money from the first anti-eco that they are going to be able to still get a pretty sufficient buy here coming into the first gun round. The only thing that's really going to be missing is like an op presence and whatnot. Asian Infiltration has decided to go for a scout instead, so he's going to have the smoke, the molly, and 2 flashbangs. But for the other guys that did actually go for rifles here, some of them are still a little bit low from the deaths in the previous round, so they're going to have to sit back and take this one without armor. And one of them, dephh, pushes forward. So far been fragging pretty nicely, but this time it's going to get dropped. And Jakem should have been, or Jakem, apologies, should have been able to see that player there inside of the palace, but I'm 100% sure he did. I do believe he spotted him because we did see a nade get tossed back into there to try to respond to it, but now we can see there too. Jakem trying to pop back outside of connector. Only takes some hits from AERO. Very, very low he's going to be, and he will be dispatched by AERO there as well. The peak comes back out, and the Asian Infiltration takes down Little through the wall there, getting the scout shot there in order to eliminate him. The rest of the members of ENSO slowly moving in to take control of the A site, and Zoner doing some work, picks up both Kryptix along with the Asian Infiltration, and now it's just going to be Rom back over here in the B site, looking to find his way back over here to, at the very least, find some kills, but his biggest goal at this point is going to be to save, because his team will be on an eco going into the next round, and to lose this gun would actually be pretty detrimental now to the impact they could possibly have going into this one. ENSO will tie things up. Probably will be able to take the lead by dispatching of their opponents here in round number 4 as well, as it's going to force most of Team CAZ onto an eco going into the next one. You can look, everybody except through the Asian Infiltration along with dephh are out of money completely, and Rom here might just end up getting dispatched by Zoner in a second, and that's the case we're going to have. He rolls right in there, is able to find the headshot in order to take him down. And now there's not going to be anything left here for the members of CAZ, unfortunately, going into round number 5. Could force it, go for pistol armor with 5.7s if they want to, but I don't think that's the best idea right now. Definitely going to want to go for the full save here. Just don't buy anything. P250s are the most. Sit back, take this round nice and easy, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Literally no investment from any single player on CAZ this time, so probably an easy third round coming out for the members of ENSO, as we'll have a little bit of garbage time between these two teams, but they do decide to get a little bit aggressive with it as they work their way inside of the palace. Little catching on to this one, though. Catches one, and Kryptix pretty far behind in order to support. He almost takes down Little by bringing him to 17 HP, but not going to pan back out. We did see, though, there that Rom was able to pick up one of these guys at the very least. Unfortunately, these kills are being traded definitely in the favor of the T's by a very big margin, so Rom's going to be left as the last one. He does manage to work his way over here to find an M4, but now he's been spotted out. 7 shots left in the M4. Tries to get a kill, but the aim punch hits him just before he finds that final bullet to go into Zoner. So he is going to be able to take him down, survive the encounter as well. And the T's will be in a very good spot now. Look at their money here, too. This is another key thing when we look at these guys. Little's going to deduce his by a pretty big margin now. He was sitting at around, sitting at around 7,000 before the round actually started. But now as we take a look, he's bought the op and everything, too. So he's going to go down a little bit. But the rest of these guys, some are sitting pretty close to or just over 10K now here at round number 6. So they're in a very good spot, whereas Team CAZ just still trying to establish themselves in their CT side economy. And for Team CAZ, now the usual split, very committed into that A site though, so this could become problematic if ENSO just goes for a cat push here. With 2 players inside of the apartments area that could very well lean into this just being a cat play, and that looks like it's exactly what's going to happen now as they work their way over towards it. So Rom and along with Jakem here are going to have to come out in a big way. Jakem spots some of these players, but as he moves forward, there's smokes that come from the T's too. That take begins, Rom catching one. Not sure if he spotted the second one, but he's doing work anyway. Drops the bomb carrier. Going to be able to do a little bit of damage over on a fly, but not going to be enough to dispatch of him. And now again, a lot of that pressure shifts over here onto Asian Infiltration as he loses his teammate Jakem. Tries to push forward. The T's are holding strong for the time being, but still no plant coming out from these guys as yet. Plenty of time to play it out, but Asian Infiltration actually some missed calls coming out there from the T's. They thought somebody was going to be over by bench, but this is not the case. And now he leaves himself overexposed to just the normal peek comes out there from the middle of the site. Asian Infiltration shutting down another one. They still have no clear avenue to plant. This is not looking good, to be honest. CAZ could just waste time with this one. Now it's Fly. He's already been injured. He has to go out looking for these kills. He's going to find one, but Kryptix catches him on the off angle there and is going to be able to take him down. So Team CAZ, now with the guns back into their hands, immediately respond. It'll be a costly round for them, only surviving with 2 players left alive. It won't really do too much to grow their economy, but at the very least, they'll still be able to make it through with enough to go for a buy this time. Limited in some degree as we take a look at Jakem. He's going to invest in an upgraded pistol, and that's all he's going to have coming into this round. And as well, for ENSO, they still got a very good economy stacked up. So they've got the op back in the hands of Little. Full AKs for everybody else, along with a decent nade stack to work with as well here. So it's still going to get a little bit rough for the members of CAZ, as they're going to have to go for the even split once again. Hopefully figure out where ENSO's coming from before it hits them, but deph's going to get hit first as they work their way in. They take him down. Kryptix trying to get a little bit of momentum rolling there, but he only finds one player before AERO is able to take him down. Asian Infiltration is sitting back over there by Ticket Booth, trying to keep himself alive, but he's going to get pushed, completely flashed, but Fly's not going to be able to find the kill, and Asian Infiltration give it all the time he needs to swap his gun back out to the AK, takes him back down, and now they've evened it out and taken a +1 advantage here. They're going to be in a little bit of trouble on ENSO, and this Molly might just end up taking down Little. He can't escape the fire. He's going to end up going down. Now it's Zoner. He's stuck back over here on team ramp, and he's got to fall back. He's got the bomb control, thankfully. And with a minute left on the clock, he could potentially just fall back and work his way over towards the B site to make an attempt to take there. And this is exactly why you now see Rom going back over towards Underpass to stop this exact thing from happening. But 2 players potentially rotating off of this. This could be a little bit riskier now, especially if Jakem leaves. But I think he's not actually moving away, just staying back over here behind the poles for the time being, just to make sure that he doesn't just make this random push and get a lucky headshot onto him. The smokes come out. And Zoner again just trying to investigate his options. Hasn't made a single sound as of yet, so Team CAZ should not know he's here. But as he pops out, finding 1 kill, he thinks he's safe though. This is the problem. An easy frag for the Asian Infiltration to grab. That's going to shut him down. And CAZ now finally taking back their lead here on the CT side by putting it up to 4-2-3 at this point in time. ENSO still with a lot of money left though, so they're going to be able to go for another buy here. This might end up being the last one, but also keep in mind that that T-sided losing bonus is going to give these guys a lot more of a boost than it does usually on the CT side of things. So they could very well force it up with a Tech 9 Arbor once again, coming after this one instead of going for a full eco, and then they could still go for an AK by the round after that anyway. So ENSO are still armed to the teeth, and CAZ letting so many of these rounds escape onto the T's, especially so cleanly as well, is not going to benefit them in any way here, as they still have a long fight to go before they're in the clear and can have some free eco rounds for themselves. So to start it off there, dephh finding 1. Kryptix has to take his spot after Art finds the trade, but now Zoner along with one other teammate coming back in there. Zoner just dispatching them 1 by 1, takes out 3 players in sequence there, all in different spots. Great plays from Zoner, and now it's just going to be Rom in a 1-on-2. Already has to take down Zoner. Some damage has been done to him. Fly as well is playing just with him right now. They fall back inside of the T-ramp to make it look like the site's clear, so when Rom does come to investigate, he might be a little bit more inclined to pop right out so that they can find an easy shot, but he's not doing this. He's sitting back right now, taking his jolly old time, and he's going to wait for ENSO to make their play, so we'll be patient about this one. And the members of ENSO slowly getting ready to move their way up here onto the site right now. Just so that time gets a little bit lower. We'll see how this plays out, as they might be able to spot him in a second, but nope, Fly's going to be patient, catches that headshot angle, able to take down Rom, and then that will end the round in the favor of ENSO once again. So, a small lead obtained by CAZ, but immediately lost just a few moments after it. And we do see these guys getting themselves right back into the ball game here, up to 4-4, and this will break CAZ as well, as they were never given a chance to stabilize their economy due to ENSO having such a good one. So now, the members of ENSO, if we do see more rounds coming up like we had previously, they can just build up their stack going once again. And for CAZ, they're not going to have anything, so expect this to be another garbage round going into the favor of ENSO. They will definitely try to resist it, though, as we can see. A big stack comes inside of connectors. They might be able to find Zoner, but no follow-up there from the teammates. So Zoner again with 2 kills. Little finding a third over here on a Kryptix. Rom, as he almost always seems to be the last player alive, just because ENSO almost always take it to the B site there. He will be left alive once again, but only with a deagle this time, so might just go out hunting for kills. Might try to save it, too, considering that, you know, he has gone for enough of an investment to try to pick up the deagle, so might have an interest in trying to keep this in play at the very least, but more than likely is just sort of looking for a flanked angle, and I think he spotted AERO here, so he's going to wait for the pop. Jumps over it, trying to get the shots, but again, the aim punch going to be too strong. The next one hit to bring him down a little bit, but only's going to hit his armor, and then of course, actually I don't even think it hits his armor. He still has full 100% armor right now, so won't even have to rebuy that. And this is going to be a double save from CAZ as well. They were teetering on the edge. They could have done 5-7 armor combo along with a couple FAMASs for those that could have afforded it, but that's way too risky. They can allow ENSO to get a couple points up, because as I said before, with ENSO having the weaknesses on their CT side, I think CAZ can sort of live with dropping some more of these CT rounds, potentially, as their T side also looks semi-good too. I do think that this team's a little bit more CT-centric than T-centric, but it doesn't mean that I don't think they can perform at all on the T side, whereas ENSO as well does have the capability to work the CT side, but there's a lot of very core issues that I think CAZ are going to be able to abuse if they've done their research properly. So an opening battle is going to happen just outside of the back apartments over here. Some good damage being done to Asian Infiltration, as he's brought down to 18 HP. dephh as well, sitting at 29 HP, but that doesn't matter for him. He's going to find the Kwanding back over here, takes out Zoner. Jakem going to burn alive, unfortunately, along with some little damage being done by Little, as he takes him down there. And now dephh waiting for another pop to come back in here through the mid connector, but not going to be happening. Little's here to play around with him a little bit, I imagine, to try and catch some of these guys off, as dephh just pops over. He actually wasn't able to spot it, but look at Rom. He's waiting for this. If he lines up the headshots, he can do some serious damage. He's going to grab Art. That's an easy frag for him. Moves out looking for another one. Some good damage being done, but again, that aim punch is going to throw him off, and that's going to knock him out of the play once again, but the rotations are swift, and they come in fast. Now we can see here 2 Asian Infiltrations here. Kryptix is here. Kryptix is back on the A side, apologies, but they do have dephh here as well. The 2 lower HE players have moved in to counter out the reactions now coming out from ENSO, and these guys are going to work themselves here. Little has moved himself in. Should have been able to hear Kryptix there just a second ago as he shifted himself behind ticket box, but still has to investigate into that. But he's got enough control of the site to where he can call his teammates over and actually go for the take itself. As he rounds this corner, no connection from Kryptix, unfortunately. At least not a big enough one. And he'll be able to take down one player, moving in, looking for dephh. dephh down to 4 HP, pops out, actually does find the kill. So good pickup there by dephh once again, but these guys are so low. Asian Infiltration's going to be the big player. We do see Fly finally taking him down with a nade that's tossed his direction. And with this AK in hand, Asian Infiltration does not have any interest at all in trying to clutch this out, which is a bit of a shame, because with the proper angle, he probably could have done this. If he had a way to move in from ticket box, I imagine he did, because I'm pretty sure he was playing over towards the B site just a few moments ago. Could have been sensing it towards middle too, which might have made it a little bit harder to work this. But had he gotten himself in like through ticket box or something, and had been able to find AERO, who was pretty much out in the open, then he could have worked that from there and had a pretty good angle on Fly too, as Fly wouldn't have been able to resist that. But again, without the armor, and like I said, at 18 HP, still definitely you really can't fault him for making the decision he has to go for the save. As he's got the AK, the money from CAZ is not in the best spot, so saving the about the $3,000 is needed to buy up the rifle there is going to be better in the long run, I think, for the members of CAZ here, because that has been one of the problems that we have seen from CAZ so far on the CT side, is their inability to keep their economy up and rolling, and they kind of just bounce back and forth, and they've allowed ENSO to pick up a lot of free rounds because of these ecos that they've been drawing back and forth. So they've been down for the punch for, I would probably say potentially, with excluding the pistol round, they've probably had to do about 4 or 5 ecos at this point in time. So these guys are not looking the best. And dephh, thankfully, gonna pop right out there, finds the first kill in his zoner. He does get the smoke inside connector before he does this, and Little too, trying to see if he can find that op shot. He's gonna give away his position, and Rom, I'm sure, was able to spot it beforehand anyway. But this smoke is perfectly set up for Kryptix, but not gonna be enough in order for him to find the kill. That molly though is gonna force one of the T's out of position. Rom gets a little bit of revenge for the molly that was tossed onto him just earlier, and oh my goodness, Rom, that's a nice headshot in the Fly, and a perfect pop top flash from his teammate. dephh finding another kill with a grenade as well. This entire offensive has gone from great to bad in just about 2 seconds there, as everybody from ENSO is going to fall dead. AERO's the last one alive. He's got some damage primed onto some of the CTs, but for the most part, they're all fresh and they're all pretty close to full HP, so with plenty of utility being able to use here too. And Asian Infiltration is watching out for this exact push to come inside of connector, so AERO, I'm not even sure if he's going to be still trying to attempt this. He's got to be looking for kills. Might have just been able to spot dephh, but I think dephh definitely has spotted him as he was just looking towards that angle. AERO, if he's playing on 4x3, that wouldn't have found it. And they've got 2 players to dispatch of him anyway, so they're going to take him down, and CAZ will once again put another point onto the board here against the members of ENSO. And as we head into our 12th round, ENSO will have enough money to still consistently go for their buys. They might... It's a little bit hard sometimes with the T side because they can be fairly liberal with their buys and it won't negatively impact them. But ENSO might actually have to make the decision to go for an eco after this. It really depends on these 3 players here. Fly and AERO were going to be sitting up, but that would only be really 2 rifles. However, 2 rifles and 3 Tech 9s can still be a very, very good round for the Ts if they know how to work those Tech 9s properly, which is not very hard to learn how to do that. So it's still fairly likely that ENSO, if they want to keep this aggressive economy up, they might just be able to go for another buy again and try to break CAZ before they can establish themselves. This has been a big part of what has allowed ENSO to maintain the lead and pick up this many T-sided rounds. So if it's that crucial, they might just go for the buy after this one anyway. But that does rely, of course, on them losing this round if CAZ is not screwed up, which so far they have had some trouble with round consistency. Picking up the first 2, dropping the third where they should have had it, and then doing the same thing just a couple rounds later. So for ENSO, they're going to move in. It's a direct take on to the A site here. 4 coming in from the ramp. dephh pops out, able to get some good damage going, but he takes some heat back. He's down to 12 HP. And AERO's going to be the one to find the first kill. The player underneath the platform does reveal himself, but now they're popping out. Kryptix picking up 2 before he's traded out by Art. And AERO did find jakem sitting underneath the platform. 2 left alive from the CT side of things. Both back over here in jungle, but AERO's going to jump up on top of Tetris, takes one of them down. dephh finds the other. dephh at 12 HP, looking to clutch it, but it's not going to be possible. And AERO strikes it back, clutches it out with a 4K for the members of Team ENSO. And now they're still going to be leading 7-5. This will break. Actually, not going to break Team CAZ as of yet. They still have a lot of money, so they could go for a buy here again. So this is good that they have managed to scratch rounds together a decent amount of cash. So they're still going to be able to go for a buy here again. jakem sitting back over here on a 5-7. The rest of the team is going to have a pretty fruitful buy to work with at this point, and ENSO has the same thing going against them. No op to work with, unfortunately, because in one of their bigger players there ended up going down, and obviously, again, without that pistol in play, this player back over here, jakem, is going to come out with some very big headshots, but a good nade comes back in there, does some good impact. Not going to be able to finish off enough of a player, but Rom comes in, takes down 2, still trying to hold things, but that jump over there, finds a 3rd as well as he takes down Fly. I'm looking for another one. He's going to get dropped, but chooses cover over dephh, and now as he pops back out here, Asian Infiltration is here to cover, finds another kill, and then dephh finishes it up with the Kobe, takes down AERO, and that's a great hold from the members of CAZ, specifically Rom, picking up those kills left and right, getting all this info, and even doing the damage just before he goes down, just lights him up, and then it's an easy cleanup for the members of CAZ once they come back in. Now ENSO have been instabilized at this point, and look, they have to actually finally go for an eco, because they pick up 1 round, but then it gets dropped back and forth too many times, so because of the fact that the members of CAZ had been getting close, doing damage, but not enough in order to take the round, we did see the members of ENSO finally losing enough money here to where they've had to call for a save. It was very close to being at a point where they could have gone for just a full buy round, but not going to be enough. They're maybe probably down by about $500 on each player to where that would have been a plausible choice for them. So now as they work their way back in here, we're going to see so far CAZ holding off strong. Fly can pop back out and really do some impact though, but so far not looking likely. AERO looking for those deagle shots, connecting some damage, but not enough to find a kill. And the rest of ENSO now falls back to try and remove this rotation inside of the apartments and probably go for a direct B take from there. As we take a look once again at where ENSO are going to move themselves here, it's exactly as we predicted. Back over here towards that B site. Rom is ready for this one. He's a little bit low on health, so he's got to be careful with jump peeking this. But he's also got a flash work with too, so if they just rush into this site, then he's going to hear it coming, and he'll be able to flash it. Spots the nade coming too, but I highly doubt he's going to use that flash. He's got a great position, and I don't know if they're going to be expecting him to be here. AERO doesn't see it, but he fires a little bit too early. Great shot from AERO. Gets the flick. Art finds a second one too, so all of a sudden, ENSO are back into this. They've upgraded one of their guns. Unfortunately, it's the player with 6 HP that's done it. Might be a better job to try and trade that back over, but Fly's got one now as well, as he picks one back up over here in Cat. There's AERO. He goes down. Asian Infiltration and dephh finding those kills, but Fly is still alive and well. The big question is, where's the plant? And it's good for him. It's planted exactly for him, but Asian Infiltration is going to move back out here, try to stop him from doing anything to stop this defuse. Finds the kill, and that's perfectly handled once again by Team CAZ. Coming back in, they find the 7th point, they tie it back up, and just in the nick of time, because we are going to be on the last round now, and they have to try to take the lead, as we'll have another buy round coming out for the members of ENSO. They're going to bring it up potentially to an 8th point here, if they can upset against CAZ once again, but if we can finally see a 2nd round being picked up by these guys, they can strike it right back here, and try to pick up an 8th round, hold an advantage against ENSO going into the second half, and this would be great for them, because like I said before, there's a lot of smaller issues that pop up on the side of Team ENSO's CT side. Here on a Mirage, I mean, everybody likes to say, yeah, it's a CT-sided map, but that's very true for high-level teams where you're able to properly research strategies and whatnot, but there's a lot of factors that come into play when those things don't happen that could actually allow the T-sided team to take a fairly large advantage. That's why a lot of these matches have ended up being T-sided. So to start it off, as I go away from my rambling there for a second, 2 kills are picked up inside the apartments by the CTs. Kryptix finding another one. Art was able to find at least 1 kill, but so far nothing else has been claimed here against the members of Team CAZ. And that leaves only 2 players left up alive from the members of ENSO. They're looking for something. Art's going to find a second kill, but now he's very low as he loses as he loses his teammate. And then Kryptix just casually gets the little flick tap there in order to take down Art at the end of it. That will be Team CAZ taking the advantage now. They pick up an 8th point. And now heading on to our second half, of course. They should be feeling fairly confident based on the results we've seen previously. But ENSO as well, they've had a day now. We haven't seen them play since yesterday. So if they've been able to figure out what some of the problems were from yesterday's matchup and really evolve that strategy, then going into this one, they might have a better opportunity to take off this match against the members of Team CAZ. So we're just waiting for that ready up to come in here right now. And as soon as these guys are ready to rock and roll, we'll jump right into the second half of our first map here. Keep in mind, second map going to be over on Dust 2. So where some of the problems may have surfaced here from ENSO being the strategical sort of elements of it, that'll probably get a lot better on the second map. And actually, I'm curious here too as to which the picks were. And unsurprisingly, ENSO are the ones that picked Dust 2. This is the pick from CAZ, so they definitely are going to be wanting to pick this one up. We'll see how well they do back on Dust as well when we get to this one. But for the pistol round, really not going to mean all of that much for either team, to be completely honest, because those pistol rounds have obviously not really led into too much besides the first 3 rounds being picked up here. It could give a small lead to really either team, but it could be easily recovered after the gun rounds here, so we'll just see how it goes. It's basically the even matchup here, and both teams are going to get reset. CAZ working against something that haven't had as much experience in, or haven't had as much prowess in, I should say, in their previous matchup, but ENSO as well. Take a look at them. They're going to be up against the wall too, and look at this aggression coming out from CAZ now, pushing their way into CT. They haven't spotted Flies yet, but actually, I correct myself. Asian Infiltration has managed to see this once again, so he's going to be able to spot this. Fly picking up one of the kills, though, on a dephh, finding the second one, but look at Rom on the off angle, finds this kill, deck to the floor, though, and the CTs find these kills left and right. It's just jakem left up in play here, moves in, gets that headshot into AERO. Now he puts it into a 1-on-1. A lot of times waits, so Arch has to roll in for this one. Jakem's got the correct angle, but he's got to execute the kill, or at least play ringer on the rose. He comes out in the open, he gets the flick shot, takes down Art, wins the round for CAZ, and they're going to hold on to their advantage here by picking up that pistol once again. Now they can build up upon this. ENSO, of course, I'm sure is going to look for a response in round number 2. We'll see if they go for the armor buy it behind their pistols in this one, or if they'll save up for it in order to get a better first gun round. We actually do see a bit of a split one. It's actually a lot like their T-sided second round too, because you see some players going for the big investment, but others are actually saving a little bit more, getting ready for that big gun round there first. So they're going to be moving their way into here again without having a big full investment. The odds are not looking so good, to be honest, for ENSO to steal away this one and eco their opponents at this point. They've got some nades, but I mean they've already used them, so won't be too good for holding things off. To the deagle here from AERO, trying to take some lucky shots, see if he can find anything. We've got a player up on the steps too, just looking for stuff, but for the most part, CAZ just roll in. Kryptix did spot this attempt to be sneaky from Little as he tried to jump into Sandwich and get away. Fly will find at least 1 kill over here, and those deagle shots slowly connecting. There's AERO, finally gets him with the deagle, but he's very quickly traded out by Asian Infiltration, and Fly will now be the final player left alive with the scout. Doesn't really have too good of an angle because everybody from CAZ is pretty much hiding at this point now. They've gotten the plant down and they are in the post-plant scenario. But there we go. Fly's going to find at least 1, taking down Kryptix. And now that he's gotten that, he's on the run at this point. Making his way away, and there we go. There we have Asian Infiltration just going to take down Fly. So no save for Team ENSO at all. The VM from Asian Infiltration, man. Just going to walk in, goes for the teabag. Taking them out. They're happy about the progress they've made here against ENSO so far, holding that 3-round lead. Probably going to be able to put it up to a 4-round lead here by picking up this one, as once again, this is going to be the garbage round for the members of Team ENSO. Nothing they can really do about this one. If they do, you know, they're even just going to go for the gamble play here too, as they put all their players back over here on the V site, just to try and hope that it's going to be pushing the here. And man, they're putting a lot of effort into this too. Look at the positions. They've got one player over here waiting for the push from Cat. He's spotting it, just checking it with the knife out so he can get the better movement. More working their way in, but all this setup for nothing, man. As CAZ are just waltzing into the A site right now, and they get it for free. So, ENSO, not a whole lot they can do. You can already see they're not even really going for the retake. They're just going to try to hide and look for these exits. and see what they can do at this point. AERO thinks he's sneaky in that spot, but Age Infiltration will spot him before he can do anything. Comes in, finds a second kill over here to take down Art as well. And the rest of these guys are lined up in pretty good spots. dephh may die as he comes out here. There we go. Fly's at least going to find one kill, but the rest are on their way to try to get the retake going. No! Actually, Zoner finds one more. But Rob is there to trade out 2 more of those kills. A little pucked up one as well. So they've actually done a decent amount of damage considering what they've brought into this one. Maybe finding another one too as he gets that awkward sort of moment coming out of cross space. But Roms will still shut him down, thankfully. No more kills that come out. Rom actually probably gets a crop load of money from this round over here because he picks up those 3Ks. But as we see, he's going to be sitting on a decent amount in Asian Infiltration as well with all the money that he had. He was pretty sure he was sitting on 11K. He's going to be able to go for the buy-up of an op now. Still left over with 4.1K after the end of this buy, too, and everybody else just goes for AKs. Same story for ENSO, though, but just a lot less utility for these guys to try and hold off the actual push. But now the CAZ is going to be splitting themselves up here in this round. Should be a lot easier to handle. dephh will be pushing himself forward back over here inside of the apartments to see if he can find anybody back over here just getting aggressive from the side of Team ENSO, but that won't be happening. And then the noisemakers, as we'll call them from Team CAZ, are the ones playing back over here just inside the T-ramp. And they're also going to be moving jakem inside of the palace, too, to see if he's going to be able to catch anything. So just spreading it out. Pretty varied take overall, or pretty varied player spread from the side of Team CAZ. Does the same thing from ENSO, too. A lot of emphasis on defending middle, but for the most part, CAZ has not really been privy on going for this as of yet. We're very early on in the half, of course. We don't know what to expect. But now the fake nades come in. They haven't committed as of yet. ENSO are a little bit fidgety, but there's going to be jakem finding the opener. This should sell it easily, as they're still not going to move everybody off. And also, the flank being opened up here by AERO at this point. He's going to head into the back alley. And the actual take with the bomb, this is going to get super crazy in a second here because the number 8 player is going to have a great angle. They're not even expecting it to be there. Down goes the bomb. Now they know it's coming into here, and now everybody's split up at this point. But, oh, at the same time, they weren't expecting 2 people to be inside of the apartments. I don't know why not. So he's going to mess up there. That'll be dephh finding the kill. But after all these trades concur, we do see CAZ still left up with an advantage at this point, but also an op still in play, and he should have an easy kill in a second if jakem peeks this angle. Moving in, he does unscope from it, but there's going to be 2 players going to watch it. Now as he creeps in, no, jakem, he actually is going to get the superior angle against Little there, takes him down and attempt to come back in. Why would you do that? Even if you knew he was that low, that's a hard shot to find, as you come in at a slower speed than him. Oh, that's dephh. That's some easy 2 kills that come out there from CAZ, and now they're going to be up 12-7. And for the members of Team ENSO now, they have to go on to another eco. So for CAZ here, they'll have a fairly easy round going into this one. Already working their way up towards a cat take. There is some crossfire coming back in through connector, but it's easily managed. And look at that. Round's over, man. 5 kills. That round, how long did that round last? I'm pretty sure that round lasted 20 seconds. I think it said on the post-round thing. So that was a very quick round. They took it slow to get themselves onto cap, but once they got there, they just went right for the take. So that was pretty much a thrown away round for ENSO. Of course, weren't really expecting them to get too much with it being an eco, but that happened so fast. And now these guys are going to be leading very heavily. We have another gun round here, but this may be one of the last attempts that ENSO will have to really try and stop this from happening at this point. If they allow CAZ to pick up yet another round, they're going to probably be at 15 because ENSO might have to go for an eco again. The money's not going to be great. They'll have the full losing bonus, so they might... there's actually kind of thinking about it now mathematically, ENSO I think can still go for another buy. It's just going to be one of those limited buys with a bunch of FAMASs and random things thrown into it, essentially like a mag or something like that. So moving in, thankfully that under position is going to be played out there. Zoner catches it, but for some reason Fly just basically, I think he stands in that molly, so jakem's going to be able to take him out. I'm sure that there was some damage that came in there normally too, but now the CT's actually come out very strong. Zoner up to 3 kills at this point. AERO finding one as well, so he's done a great job playing this platform area, and just Hand Art comes in to shut it down. So that's all at the hands of Zoner, basically playing from underneath the platform. He just clutches that round for the entire team, stops that push from happening single-handedly for the most part, gets some support from his teammates to act as a distraction, but it's all him picking up the frags. He closes it back out, and now they're going to be up to an 8th point. They do stop the lead here from CAZ for now from growing, but at the same time, they had let CAZ get such a huge stack of money that they have no problem just going for another full rebuy here, including the op with the full utility kit being back over here on the Asian Infiltration. So CAZ now going back over here for a little bit more of middle control. You do have to move the members from ENSO here to resist it a little more. One's inside connector. He's going to try to look to see if he can get some damage done to these guys, but it's going to be Asian Infiltration that ends up finding him out. Takes him out of the play. And Rom here too will get smoked back over here on T-ramp, but he's still got a decent sight if he moves in here, and Fly I don't think is going to have too good of an angle to spot him. His attention is actually drawn to Palace right now, so if he walks in, he can actually catch quite a bit for free, essentially. Because also looking back over here, too, at the zoner, he does have a boost up spot on ticket, so it's going to get dangerous, but if they throw a flash in from middle or something, that's immediately going to draw his attention, and then he can just walk right in. And maybe even find the kill back over here on the Fly as well, because he's going to be out in the open, and if zoner's distracted, that's an easy frag. They do move it stack a little bit, though, as Fly's going to put himself out in the open. If the take happened now, would be great, but they're still lining up for it. There's Fly, though. He actually catches one of them as they start this take, so ooh, Team Dink comes in over there on the Rob, too. A little bit of a miscommunication now, as deph's going to do some team damage over there. That brings him down to 48. Fly still playing underneath. deph's going to clothesline him, though. Takes him back out. Now they move in for the take. They got the smokes going, and I don't believe they have one by ticket booth, but it's not going to be enough to do it. It's not going to matter, because they've got the smoke that's needed to get this plant going. So dephh still gets it down, hides behind the triple stack. Nobody even coming in from middle, so look at this boost up spot. Gets so much damage back over here. Shuts down one. Doesn't spot the player from the right, but a teammate does. He is going to take out one before falling, and then back over here, Art will also fall, as will Little, to end that round, and CAZ immediately traded back. This is going to muck things up for ENSO. They, of course, really have to force it up here, because otherwise, then they've got to work, what would that be, like 7 rounds, I think, in a row, perfectly, just to tie it up and take it into overtime. So they're just going to try to go all in here, and if not, then that's going to be the game for them, and CAZ will be taking the first map here in the Star Ladder Pro Series. So for CAZ, though, fairly straightforward push so far from these guys as they move dephh in just to make some noise back over here, but that fails pretty heavily too, as zoner is going to catch him without taking a single hit of damage. Well, brought down to 94, but nothing really conceivable. Less than 10% of his health pool goes away, and the rest of CAZ are inside the apartments getting ready to make a push over here into the B site. You do have 2 to defend it, but they're starting to shift away from the general area of the apartments. Orbit's ready for this. He moves back in, just in case that was going to waterfall out, and he spotted it now too, so they've called the rotation. AERO's going to be here, but he's only got a 5-7. So he's got to be careful himself, and actually I think CAZ realized that this is going to be a little bit of a suicide play with all the time they've allowed ENSO to get the rotates going. They still have to try to sell it, though, so they're going to keep jakem here. And actually, no, they are still going for this play, it looks like. As AERO moves back over to watch for a push that comes out from underpass here. That's going to be jakem that falls at the hands of Little. And now they do go in here with the nades supporting them. They think it might be clear, but they're going to get smoked off pretty heavily here. Back underneath, though, you still got one player holding on. Little finding an additional kill. Asian infiltration to pick up one, but that's traded out pretty quickly by Art, and now everything's on Rom to try and flex this one back out. Finds one, looking for the second. It's very messy, though, so Art will be able to take that back down. And ENSO once again strike back to put them up to 9 rounds. For the money on CAZ, it's still looking very good, though, to be honest. They should still be able to get a buy going here. Rom and Kryptix are a little low, but with 9k, I think, sitting over here on a jakem, he should be able to drop the appropriate amount of AKs. We might have one Tech 9 be brought up from Kryptix. Beyond that, though, everybody should still be good, and yeah, that's how it's going to work out. Kryptix on the Tech 9, everybody else with the AKs, and full utility kits, too. And Kryptix going to be a little bit lower than that, but he's had to buy his own gun, because I guess his team doesn't like him. So, now for Team ENSO. They've got a chance here to break the members of Team CAZ completely. That would put them up to around 11 points. There's 3 behind. They're still not in the clear as of yet. They still have this comeback happening. It's still going to be a little bit more work in order to make this stuff happen here. And so they do have a chance, like we said before, but it's all about seizing it. Fly out in the open, taking a big risk with that position. He is going to fall, and one more is also going to fall from the side of ENSO. But thankfully that Mullen, at the very least, and the damage that is going to be done back over there is enough to find this frag. Little was hoping. Thankfully, the T's oblige him. They threw a smoke in his direction after the molly was tossed in, so it's actually going to save his life because he doesn't have to pop out now, and the smoke saves him too, but the kills all still coming out from CAZ left and right, and there's just no defense from ENSO, unfortunately. They're all smoked off, or they fortunately get dispatched in the first attempt to work their way into the site, so CAZ pick it up, and they're going to get up to 15 points now. And ENSO, once again, are basically going to be almost on a full save here. They've got 3 pistols with upgrades that's forced up as heavily as they can do this, and 2 rifles in place. They've got a little bit to work with here, but CAZ definitely has the advantage once again, and also Asian Infiltration just picking up one of the CT's guns too. 3 of these guns coming in from previous rounds, so that's a lot of money being saved, and a lot that once again can be built up. But they're still teetering on the edge. So if we do see ENSO clutching the round, CAZ, I'm sure, are going to try to force it, just based on the way that they've been playing this economy up to this point, but they will finally be at a point where they're not going to have that full AK arsenal that ENSO have had to work against for pretty much this entire half ever since guns had first been picked up by both teams. Art, getting aggressive, though. Going to be able to find this first kill back over here on the jakem, and now they know that the back B halls are clear, so that should give them indication to believe it's either in middle or back over here, but they're actually going to play against this once again, too, because, with this information being gained, ENSO could just call this as, yeah, this is clear. But without any presence in middle as well, ENSO also might be feeling that, okay, well, it's clear for now, but that doesn't mean they can't just rotate into it like they're doing at this very moment. So this is actually a good call from these guys not to rotate off of B just as of yet, because they also haven't spotted anything in middle, nor have they spotted anything over here in the T-ramp, despite Zoner having a pretty aggressive position against it. So they might have this figured out. But the problem is that with these aggressive positions being taken up by ENSO, it's also going to leave them a little bit further away for the rotate too. And you have to remember, with now 3 rifles in play, this is another good thing that Art's been able to pick up, is he does have another rifle with the work against these guys. But if the first entries go by the way of CAZ, and it's going to get dangerous. But the take's beginning. There's Art again. He's been waiting all this time. He finds 1 kill. Rom did find a trade, but immediately Little picks another one up. Now Asian infiltration coming back in from Cat. They're very quick on the plant, but it's going to be a 2-on-3. First plant, he actually decides against this to get a better angle, as I think they just want to try to hold back on backside here. Smoke's coming back in. Fly trying to work his way back in over here from the market area, and we do see that being contested now, but he's going to fall, so it all goes into the hands of the Asian infiltration, and he too is going to get knocked out pretty quickly there by Little. So ENSO, again, very good amount of play from them, very good intuition, and they're very good at sneaking around the map as well, as they're able to find a lot of these kills for free before the real fight even begins. CAZ, unfortunately, going to fail once again. They get the plant going down, so this gives them an extra amount of money, and they should still be able to go for a semi-decent buy heading here into the 26th round, but they are letting ENSO get a little bit closer now. It's got to be 5 in a row perfectly from ENSO at this point. And the buy from CAZ, we'll see it here in a second. Like we said, it can still be semi-decent. They're going to have quite a few Tech 9s in play, though. In fact, the only player that buys an AK is Kryptix. Probably could have seen Asian infiltration, a couple more guys go for them, but they've actually made the choices to sit back a little bit here and take this round easier, just in the event that they do lose it here, so they still have a little bit more money to buy up, or so that they only have to do a single save instead of just emptying out their accounts and waiting for the losing bonus to stack up once again. So, for the members of CAZ, very aggressive control over here middle, attempting to be taken from these guys. And look at AERO, he's got a great position, but he only finds 1. Kryptix able to find a good trade for that one. And now they've got mid control, but now they're going to move beyond this and try to find something else. Jakem puts himself inside a ladder room. Eyes are on B for the time being, but they move themselves back. And Rom as well here had pushed inside the palace, but is now retreating from it. So I do think that these guys are just going to regroup and head themselves over towards T-ramp now to make a push from there. And Jakem is also in a really good prime position, to where, so long as he keeps himself quiet, so long as like nobody tries to go looking for him, I think Fly has a feeling he's in here. But as the take potentially begins on the A site, all their attention is going to be drawn towards that, and nobody's really going to be worried about somebody coming back in. So there's Little, though. He finds the first frag. Now Jakem has to come into play, because Zoner finds one from underneath, too. This setup is really, really strong, and yeah, Little finding another frag as well. Those guns just definitely favoring the CTs. Jakem still has the veil of illusion about him as to where exactly he is. They haven't spotted him as of yet, so they're going to be overpicking against him, but Tech 9 tool versus an M4. The M4 is definitely going to win it there. Art takes it down, and ENSO pick up an 11th point here to try to swing their way back into this game. Because CAZ went for the save, though, again, they still have players to a point where they could go for a Tech 9 armor buy, and that's what they're going to do. Won't be going for the full buys again. That would still empty them out far too much. So this is now we finally have the team fully grounded on a strat here too, and not even everybody's gonna go for the Tech 9 armor. Even those that are just those that are sitting, you know, above the 3K mark, and we'll get enough of a losing bonus to be able to buy an AK on round number 28. So this is going to be one where, of course, they'll attempt to win it out, but the odds are not going to be so good. More or less a garbage round. They still have a chance to do it if they have the guys with armor leading the charge here to try to find their way into the site, but it's going to be a little bit rough, too, because they've already used all their utility just to get in here, so they've got to defend it. And you've only got 2 natural defenders. More rotating in, but those are going to come into play a little bit later, because if the first 2 are taken out quickly enough, then they won't immediately try to come in and try to shut these players from CAZ down. Fly gets the first one. Zoner still underneath. Nobody even checks that, as he's still going to be left alive, and this is a shutdown for the members of the ENSO at this point. 4 kills to none. It's all on Rom. The plant has gone down, of course, but still, there's not a lot he can do to keep himself alive. The Molly comes in. That's going to bait him back out. Comes in to try to find 1 kill. He's going to get it a second one. Why did that take ENSO so long to kill him? AERO is going to be able to take him down, but he came out like a wildcat, dude. And just came in there, picked up 2 frags before the round ends at the very least, so he does some good damage to try to keep the money low, but money as far as ENSO is concerned doesn't really matter at this point. They have to full buy anyway, and they've gotten themselves to a point where they can afford to do so. It's the same story for CAZ, though, as they'll be able to get their AKs back finally, along with mollies, smokes, HEs, and everything, as they're going to line up for a full 5-man take going into the A site, and this could work out really well, too, if they just go right for it. Fly is going to have to come out in a big way to try to stop this, because at least right now, it's moved back away now, but if CAZ just walked right into the site, they would have only had to deal with 2 people. There's Fly, though, getting himself into that aggressive spot. He's going to be able to take down Jakem, and now as Fly puts himself underneath balcony once again. This has really been a bad spot for CAZ to work against, so out comes Fly. He finds one, it's traded, but the damage has already been done at this point, and now the members of ENSO, they've got a great setup here. They've basically got like a laser line set up here. They're going to move forward. Nobody checks in front of Firebox. They do spot him first, so dephh takes him down, but now he's down at 19 HP, so he's got to be very low. AERO comes in, finds the trade. Now they've got a flank opened up. And CAZ a little bit too straightforward on this play. Unfortunately, leaves it all to Kryptix. He's going to fall, and that will be the members of ENSO. Once again, getting very close to tying things up. They now find a 13th point, 2 more away from tying it up. And for CAZ, a choice needs to be made here. Do they save and wait for the full buy going into round number 30, or do they just say, screw it, try to win it out here? and leave themselves with not a whole lot of cash going into the final round. They do decide to go for the eco route, and I know people are going to be all like, but they bought the Tech 9 armor. Well, that still leaves them enough cash. We got to remember, they're actually going to be on the full losing bonus by that point. This is the 4th round losing bonus. They'll have the 5th by the time they get to round number 30, so it's just going to be so far ENSO shutting things down. Fly finding 3 kills onto the Tech 9 player before he even drops. AERO with a well-timed nade, picks up another one, and then Kryptix is going to be the last player to lie, but he's at the moment being flanked here by Art. It will be right in his face, but Art wins the trade anyway. And ENSO now up to 14, one more away from tying things up and taking us into overtime in map number 1 of this set. CAZ absolutely have to clutch it out here. Like we said, they've got enough money. They're still going to be able to get a buy. Won't have an op. Actually, no, apologies. They do have the op sitting over here in the Asian Infiltration, but this is going to end up costing Kryptix because of the fact that they went for that Tech 9 buy in the previous round. Now Kryptix does not have enough money to... he doesn't have enough money to get a full utility kit for himself, but... And then they got it on 4 people, and that should be plenty enough. Now Asian Infiltration going to have to do some serious work for this because he's also working against 2 ops from the side of ENSO as well. They've equipped themselves in a very, very big way, so... Now they're going to see what they can work with here at this point. And England looking to claim some glory here today if they can pick up this first map, but CAZ, for some reason, have just fallen completely short as ENSO figured out the secret that was needed to stop CAZ. And that was, to be honest, they're just playing from underneath of the platform area and trying to stop these guys before they can work their way into the site. But ENSO splitting themselves up pretty heavily right now. And what's different about CAZ this time is CAZ actually have done a great job of keeping themselves quiet. We've almost always seen some aggressive play from Team ENSO work out fine and be able to find a player or two and reveal a part of the plan, which ENSO could then react to and find a way into these sites, or find a way to stop the plan from CAZ from actually happening. But this time, it's not really the case. So far, ENSO have 0 info in terms of what CAZ is doing, and they still, I don't think, have been able to grasp any. But the timer's now getting low, and to be completely honest, I'm not entirely sure CAZ up until this point had figured out what they wanted to do either. They were just looking for picks. Both teams were. So now they're going to move back over here. They'll go for the direct A take. There's a fairly default setup from ENSO for it, just because they don't have any more info to suggest otherwise. But this should still be fairly good, especially if they don't use smokes and want to get themselves out of the site. They still only have 2 smokes here on the T side to work with. And that in itself is going to be very limiting. But what they do have are mollies, and this could be a big play. That flash comes out, that's going to hold them back for a few minutes. But as we can see, that the counter flashes also come in from the T's too as they work their way in. dephh finding the first one, Zoner finding a trade, dropping down that molly along with dephh shutting him down, finding another kill, but Fly and Sandwich, such a long spray, but Kryptix gets the kill on the Fly anyway. The members of CAZ, they've got the advantage at this point, and ENSO so close to tying it up, but now they're down to 2, and they've got to find a way back in. That smoke's holding them back. They're giving the members of CAZ a lot of time to get themselves into post-plant positions, but as they work their way back out here, once again, they're looking for these shots. Kryptix is going to shut down one of them. Rob actually steals the frag, and it's just AERO stuck out here. Asian Infiltration gonna miss his kill, but Kryptix coming back out here as well, trying to find AERO. AERO gets the flank, so it's down to 1-on-1, but that molly, along with him just going for the defuse, that's gonna close it. Kryptix finds the headshot, and just before it's tied to overtime, the upset against ENSO. Team CAZ take it 16-14 in map number 1. And now, guys, that is gonna give them the lead here in the set. They will lead it 1-0, and we will head on to map number 2 now. So we'll be starting that, guys, in just a few minutes. It's going to be over on Dust 2. So stick around for it, and we'll be back in just a second with map number 2 here between ENSO and CAZ, Dust 2, here at the SLTV Pro Series.